You don't need to press any button. You don't even need to look at the screen. Just use hand gestures to play the next song, previous song, or stop the music. Just move your hand like a controller and that's it. All this is possible because of the Makerfabs MaTouch ESP32-S3 parallel TFT with a 3.16-inch ST7701S display. Now, just imagine if you wanted to build the same level project using Arduino or any other development board, how many extra modules would you need? A separate MP3 player, speakers, Arduino or ESP32, SD card module, RGB display, gyro and IMU module, buttons, a battery charger, so many parts, so many wires. Because of that, your cost increases. Your wiring becomes complex and a lot of time gets wasted. So why purchase all these parts separately and waste time on wiring when you already get everything on a single board? And let me tell you one thing, this board is not limited to building an MP3 player only. This board also includes an onboard microphone based on the INMP441 and an RTC chip for time-based projects. And that's not all. You get reserved UART, a 4-pin SH1.0 I2C header, and a 4-pin MX 1.25 USB header. This means you can easily connect more sensors and breakout boards whenever you need them. Because of all this board is perfect for portable and wearable projects like sensor monitoring, mini photo album, gesture-controlled robotic car, voice recorder, self-balancing robot, digital spirit level or bubble level, portable receiver for monitoring important processes, home automation systems. The possibilities with this development board are almost endless. At the heart of all this, you get a powerful ESP32-S3 controller with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 5.0. This makes it faster, smarter, and more capable than Arduino-based solutions. This display is fully compatible with LVGL, so you can use SquareLine Studio to design amazing and professional user interfaces. All the material related to this video can be downloaded from my website, electronicclinic.com. And if you want ready-to-use project folders with all the project files and extra resources, you can visit my Patreon page. With just a $1 subscription, you get access to all my projects and future updates. On the hardware side, you don't really need to do anything because everything is already available on the board. However, on the software side, you need to be a little careful to avoid errors. For that reason, I strongly recommend watching my getting started video on this board. In that video, I explain which Arduino IDE version you should use. Right now, it is version 2.3.6, which ESP32 board package version is required, and how to install all the necessary libraries. It's very important that the library versions match exactly, otherwise you may run into compilation or runtime errors. So for a smooth and error-free experience, please watch that previous video first. I will add the link in the description below. Once all the required libraries are installed, we are officially ready to move forward. Now, let's talk about the code because this is where the real magic happens. First of all, what I really like about this board is that Makerfabs has already exposed all the connections very clearly in the schematic. Because of that, we don't have to guess anything. We already know exactly which pin is connected to what, and we simply map those pins directly in the code. For audio output, we are using the I2S interface, which is the best choice for high quality sound. According to the schematic, the I2S bit clock is connected to GPIO 44, left-right clock to GPIO 43, and audio data output to GPIO 19. Next comes the SD card interface. Instead of using default SPI pins, we use the exact pins defined by Makerfabs. The chip select is on GPIO 42, MOSI on GPIO 40, MISO on GPIO 38, and clock on GPIO 39. Now let's talk about the display. On this board, the TFT backlight is connected to GPIO 46. This pin controls the backlight directly, so we don't need any external transistor or extra wiring. In the setup function, we simply configure GPIO 46 as an output. One important thing to notice here is that the backlight is active low, which means setting the pin low turns the display on and setting it high turns it off. As soon as we pull this pin low, the backlight comes alive and the screen becomes visible. For gesture detection, we are using the QMI8658 IMU, which is already present on the board. The I2C pins are GPIO 17 for SDA and GPIO 18 for SCL. In the setup, we configure the accelerometer for a 2G range and a 500 Hz output data rate. which gives us fast and smooth motion detection. Now, here comes the interesting part, gesture logic. The code continuously reads the acceleration on the x-axis. Every time a new value comes in, we compare it with the previous reading. If the difference between these two values crosses a predefined threshold, the code treats it as a shake gesture. A quick shake toward the right side triggers the next shake, while a shake toward the left side plays the previous shake. Slow tilting does nothing, so accidental movements are ignored. When the board is held flat and still for a specific amount of time, the code detects this condition and stops the playback. This is done by checking both x and y acceleration values and making sure they stay below a defined limit for at least 1 second. No buttons, no touch, just natural movement. The user interface is kept simple on purpose. The screen shows the current acceleration value and the playback status, like playing or stopped. This helps you visually understand what the gestures are doing in real time, which is perfect for debugging and demonstrations. So overall, this code is designed to be simple, efficient, and very practical. All the hardware complexity is already handled by the board, and the software focuses only on logic and user experience. To upload the program, here's what you need to do. First, go to the Tools menu, Board, ESP32, and select ESP32-S3 dev module. Go back to the Tools menu, Port, and choose the correct communication port. Again to the Tools menu, Flash size, and select 16 MB. Again, go to the Tools menu, Partition scheme, and select 16M flash. And one last time, go to Tools menu, PSRAM, and select OPI PSRAM. Once all these settings are done, you can simply click the Upload button. If you get an error during the upload, don't panic. This is completely normal with ESP32 boards. Just disconnect the USB cable, then press and hold the flash button, and while holding it, connect the USB cable again. Now upload the code once more and make sure you keep the flash button pressed during the upload. As you can see, the program has been uploaded successfully. You can now unplug the USB cable and move on to the next step. For the practical demo, I have already copied a few sound files to the SD card. You can save songs, lectures, voice notes, anything you want as long as it's in RAW format. Now, let's insert the micro SD card into the slot. Then turn on the power switch and the player will start automatically. By default, the system plays all the sound files one by one in sequence. If you keep the board flat and still for about 1 second, the player will stop. Give it a quick shake and it will start playing again. A normal tilt will do nothing, so there are no accidental skips. To change the track, you need to give it a quick shake. Shake to the right to play the next file. Shake to the left to go back to the previous one. There are no buttons to press, and you don't even need to look at the display. Just shake your hand and that's it. So that's all for now. Support me on Patreon for more videos. I hope you liked today's episode. Like and share this video with your friends. See you in the next episode and thanks for watching.